hear it. Hey guys, what's up? Good to see you. We've got the e30 right here, as you can see. And today we're going to be doing a valve adjustment on it. It clacks pretty bad. It is quite loud. If you've seen this last video that I just did, it sounds like a Cummins, so pretty clacky. Sounds like a diesel if you don't know what a Cummins is. But yeah, also I plasti dipped half of the front grille to see what it looked like, and it looks pretty good. Real subtle. I mean, it's black, so it doesn't stand out. It doesn't contrast the rest of the car too hard. It just smoothly blends in, and it's really nice. So I'll show you that here in a sec. But yeah, let's start this thing up and see what it sounds like before we get into this. Actually, I decided not to start up. It's going to be too hot. Well, I'm working on it kind of in a hurry. Naturally, I'm always in a hurry. But yeah, so let's just adjust them. I'll show you how to do it. So here we are. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts, nuts. Then you have to take this bracket off that holds the intake manifold down to this valve cover. Basically just braces. And then there is a vent hose that runs down to that other side of the intake, and you got to take that off, and then it should come right off. So let's get to it. Alright, now that we've got the valve cover off, let's pull the plugs, make it a little bit easier to turn over. I don't know if this is a, oh, it's a 13/16, it's not a 7/8, but it's alright. My garage is a super mess right now. I mean, clearly the Corvette is just nearly torn apart. See, the steering rack is coming out. Got to get to that harmonic balancer, but I will update you guys on that one a little bit later. So throw this 13/16 in there. There we are. That was not tight at all, so that's not the best. Could be part of the misfire. Let's zip her out of here real quick. Well, I've seen worse. Not a whole lot worse. It's got oil in it. But the valve cover is leaking a little bit. The gasket, it wasn't awful tight either when I pulled it off. So we'll see if just tightening it up will fix it. Figured I'd just get another valve cover gasket. But as of right now, I haven't gotten one, so we'll see how that goes later on. I've got some painter's tape around here. That would be awesome to label these. Alright, let me look for it and I'll bring you guys back out. Could not, for the life of me, find that painter's tape. So I'm going to do my best. This is 6. And hopefully if I don't touch it, it'll stay there. But we'll see. Man, these plug wires have a great seal on them. 5. It might stay, you never know. If not, I just go through it. Make sure I know which one I'm putting back on, but looks good. 4. Yeet. Nice. That's always a good sign, having a good seal like that. That way you don't have to worry about them too much coming loose or wiggling their way out or not making a good enough connection and kind of having that hesitation misfire. That's always a plus. 2 and 1. Okay, so we've got those labeled. Let's pull the rest of those plugs out. Alright, so now that we've got all the plugs out, this is what you'll need. This is a 10 thousandths feeler gauge. The actual spec on this is 0.00985 or whatever, and so 10 thou, just make it real snug, and you should get exactly what it's supposed to be. It's 25 mil or 0.25, and as you can see, this one is 254 millimeters, so it's just a little large, but that'll be all right. And then you want your Allen wrench or key, however you like to say it, so you can stick it in this little hole right here to move that flat. And then your 10 mil fits on the outside of this thing, so you can loosen that up, and that way you can use your Allen wrench to move that that flat in there. So I'm going to set this down. We're going to look and make sure that cam is flat, and it technically is flat, but that if you can see that the lobe is pointing sideways and not down. You could adjust it like that, but you could also just turn it over, which is exactly why I took the spark plugs out, so I could turn it over really easy by hand. And so the way to do that is that crankshaft bolt right there. Just stick you a wrench on that, which I can't tell what size that is, but we'll find out here in just a minute. Stick your wrench on that and turn that bad boy until this is flat. So let's go grab a wrench. Alright, so I've got my wrench down here, and I'm just gonna give it a nice little turn. Oh, slipped off of it. There we go. Turn it that way, and we'll see where my top is. A little more. That'll work right there. So then what we're gonna do is take our little tin right here, and I'm gonna bend it. Well, I guess I should bend it on this side. No, bending it on this side. This way, you can slide it right in there like so. That one actually feels pretty good. We're going to adjust it a little bit deeper than that. So, pull her down. So you can do both of these at the same time, and so we'll just go ahead and loosen both of them. Grab the little Allen key, hopefully it's loose enough. So you pull it back like that and you have nothing but play in it, right? Because it's basically like a little cam itself. I'm going to adjust it to a little bit of drag on there, which was a little bit more than I thought it would be. Hold it right there. Get it a little tight. And you don't have to loosen it up as much as I did. You can keep it where this nut has, well, yeah, this nut has a little bit of drag on it. That way you don't have to hold it, it'll hold itself. Yeah, it feels pretty good. And so we're just going to go ahead and tighten her down. That should be fine. And we'll do the same on this side. Make sure that's halfway loose. Whew. Man, that one's pretty loose right there. Little looser. Should be fine right there. I'm touching, so. Oof. I'm smacking both sides. Okay, so we'll right about there. Got some decent drag on it. Try not to move anything. Just occurred to me that I was tightening that just a second ago. Oh, come on. Feels good. Feels good. Number one is done. So cylinder one's done. Make sure both of these are tight, just for good measure. So I believe the firing order is 1, 3. I think it's like 1, 3, or no, it's 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 4, maybe. I have it on my phone. Look and see what that is real quick. Yeah, 1, 5, 3, 6, 4, 2. Or no, it's 2, 4. Well, now I gotta Google it, because I think it's, I forgot 2, so let me. Okay, so I was right. It's 1, 5, and then 3, 6, 2, 4. And it's really weird looking at it from the top, but you just go by the rockers and you can remember which cylinder is where. It's a little bit easier that way. So, as you can see, I've got everything done, all tightened up, everything back together. Spark plugs are in, wires are on. Make sure that they're all pretty tight on there properly. They all look good. And so when you tighten these nuts back on, you want to go in an X pattern or crisscross. And so what I did was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kind of thing. You could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever you want to do. Just work your way from the middle out. Either way you want to do it like that is fine. And so now that I've got this all done, everything kind of out of the way, make sure I get my wrench off the front of the car. There we go. That would have been bad if I'd have left that on there, but it's all part of it, I think. So now we're going to change the idle air control valve, because as you will see, it was getting a little crazy on me when I got home yesterday. And there it is right there, and that is all that is supposed to control the idle. And once it warms up, which we might actually tackle too here in a minute, once it warms up, one of these relays in here pops over and it sends the signal over the O2 sensor, and then the O2 sensor controls the idle. So as long as you've got a good O2 sensor and a good relay in there, it should idle just fine. But this is also part of the idle. So we're going to pop this out. Yep. So there you have it. New and old. Hopefully it's not remanufactured. Don't actually know. And my goodness, a lot of stuff in there. But anyways, slide that back on, slide that back in. Got the new one in. That hose clamp is junk now, and that's all right. So this thing's got barbs on it anyways, is what I like to call it, and it seems like it's got a pretty good seal, and right here as well. So I think we're done. I think that'll work. Make sure everything is in place. I didn't move too much stuff. When I get to kicking around, I end up moving a whole bunch of stuff out of the way. Make sure it's plugged in. So I think we're done. I think I am going to check this one of these relays. I'm going to have to look up and see which one it is, because I don't know which one they are. As it says in here, it's got all the K's, but that's it. So yeah, I'm going to check all those and then maybe clean that one out, see what happens. Figured out which one it was, this little guy right here, and I'm going to pull this off, make sure it's not too crazy dirty inside, and make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. Just basically when the idle air warms up, it's supposed to send everything to the oxygen sensor. So pull this off of here real quick, clean her out, and see how it goes. Alright, so we've got it all put back on. Looked pretty good, cleaned it out anyways, just for safe measure. Looks like I've got everything tightened, everything set where it's supposed to go. All the spark plug wires back on, everything looks good over there. I think we're ready to start it. Need those keys. Just set all this stuff on the ground just in case I need it. See what happens. Changed a whole bunch of stuff. Hopefully it doesn't blow up. Neutral. Well guys, I figured it out. I figured out the idle problem. So I just basically throwing parts at it, and as a matter of fact I think I've got one out there in the mailbox, so that's exciting. Basically just throwing parts of this stinking thing. Couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. Was looking for vacuum leaks all over the place, you know, just cleaned the throttle body, made sure the throttle body was closing all the way. Just went over this thing, you know, top to bottom. And I'm embarrassed to say what happened. I finally figured out what was wrong with it. And Devin, I'm not saying it was your fault or anything. Devin, it was your fault. I'll tell you. You had this thing on here. It wasn't even your fault. The guy that we bought it from had put this on here the way that we got it. And so we didn't know any better. Never even thought anything, never thought a second thing about it. I'm not sure how it idled before, but I'll show you what it is. I'll show you what it is. So it's kind of funny. This little dude right here was turned the opposite way, and I've got another one. I can't remember if I put it inside the car or not. I think I did. Let me see if I can find it inside the car. Probably in the back. Why is that door locked? I don't know what I did with it. But anyways, so there's an arrow on this thing. On the bottom side of it, it's got an arrow that points to that nozzle right there. Well, when it was flipped, this top was going into here and that was going into there. And the arrow was going this way. Well, I'm sitting there thinking about it. I said, well, why would the arrow be going inside the intake when this controls the air that flows around the throttle body when the throttle is completely closed, right? Say, huh. Well, and so I unplugged it, flipped it over, and this plug was ran around the intake boot right here. And so we thought that maybe it was probably pretty, you know, that's the way it was supposed to be. Well, it turns out this runs down from the harness. There's 3 that are plugged into one. This goes here. One of them goes to the throttle position sensor on the bottom side of this throttle body, and the other one goes to some kind of vacuum adjustment. And sure enough, I flipped this thing over and it idles so good. It idles a little bit low right now. That's just the way I've got it set, and I don't want it too high, but I also don't want it too low, so I'm kind of playing with it wherever I want it right now. Look at that. You believe that? Oh, the dinger. Oh, the dinger. So there we go. Flipped her around, and you'll notice it's a lot quieter than it was. The only thing that's not quieter is the exhaust leak over here. Oh man, it's leaking all the way around that slip pipe. So that is probably some of my misfire because the O2 sensor is not reading correctly. But I do have an intake manifold gasket on the way, as you can see it's kind of leaking a little bit. I need to change the rotor and the cap, but other than that, man, she's running really good, pretty smooth and everything. So anyways, I just want to give you guys an update on the old e30. Also, you might notice that I have started the paint work on it, and it actually looks pretty good with a gray hood with it all completed instead of, you know, just having rust spots everywhere. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.